Welcome to the Stanley Street Social Podcast presented by MAP. My name's Alex Clements. I'm joined by Ben O'Connor, NTT professional rider, and Campbell Flakemore. If you do need to pick yourself up some new kit, MAP do give you 15% off if you put Nick's jersey and socks into your cart. No need for any codes or any promo. You just chuck it all in and they'll give you 15% off their premium apparel. Ben, thanks for joining us. You're at the Giro d'Italia. We're only 3 stages in and a lot has happened.
Yeah, g'day. Yeah, it's been pretty open so far. Not a lot of control. So a lot's happened for me. A lot happened to the other two, a lot of other teams as well. So it's been I don't know what's going to happen this last week.
What's your day look like? What's a stage day?
Well, for today, super relaxed, because we start late. But yesterday was a lot more stressful. We had, well, not stressful, but we had a long drive, maybe about an hour and a half, to get to the stage start. Then you just have your meeting, the debrief about what our plans are going to be, everyone's roles, go sign on. And often with the short stages here in Sicily, and because the roads are difficult, the bus has to leave before, so you before is necessary. So you kind of hang out on the street for a little bit and relax if you can.
How was the TT on the first day? Because there was a lot of talk that it was pretty dangerous and there was a super fast downhill section. How did you find it and how quick did you end up getting on that downhill?
I got to around 97, but I wasn't even on the frame or tucking as much as I could, but not on the frame. So it was pretty quick. I mean, to be fair, it was just the wind. It was kind of outrageous. But and the descent wasn't the difficult part. It was the dead straight road when you went into the city, because it would kind of just do 360s all around from every side of the side streets. So you had no control. I mean, you saw the video, or many people probably saw the video of Rowan trying to hold the bar and just had no chance and almost decking it a few times. Well, I held the base bar the whole time. It didn't even bother. You will crash at 70 and then you're gone. And the roads were terrible.
With the potholes.
Yeah, as you're about to say, it's hard to say exactly what else they could have done. I mean, surely there were some other roads around Palermo, or even along the seaside there, that may have been more suitable. But it's always a show for the Giro.
Mate, it's the Giro. Buckle up.
Yeah, I know. I don't think he really cares what he gives us today.
Did the wind change as well?
Yeah, completely. Yeah, so one of our guys, Domenico, he had full headwind, and he did 75 or 80 max whilst we were doing 15 k's an hour, not trying at all. So it was pretty difficult for those guys at the end, but they knew the weather was clear. It said it was going to change, and for smaller guys, I can understand why maybe it would have been better to go late. But for some of the other guys, maybe like Jakob, maybe Micah, and so on, I don't think it was a very good decision.
Hey, how does it work in the first TT or the first stage? Because it's not of GC order. Do teams just you just sign up where you want to go off on the start list, or how does it work?
Yeah, you can choose. I think the directors choose exactly where everyone wants to start. Sorry about the noise. So yeah, it's you get free pick. That's why it's often good for the GC guys or someone targeting to go late sometimes, because then they can have reference times and a bit of info. But for stages where it actually is weather, kind of, what's the word?
Volatility.
Yeah.
Don't know what's going to happen.
I guess. Or when the weather kind of determines the actual race itself, then you really should know better.
Yeah.
On to last night. Cameron, unless you've got any other TT questions.
No, I don't think so. I think we just want to clear a few things up. There's a lot of talk about the road surface and stuff, so it's good to get some insight on that.
Last night we were talking about on yesterday's preview Unpack that there was potential that this was going to be a genuine showdown with not heaps of opportunities, and it didn't disappoint. Geraint Thomas crashed in the neutral to kick things off, to throw a spanner in the works. Did you see him crash, Ben?
I was actually like right at the front. I didn't know what happened, but I saw loads of bottles just like exploding everywhere. We just like went into this little cobbled section. Everyone lost all their bins, and then I saw the video. I was pretty unlucky, I guess, for him to hit it. There's not really a lot you can do except go straight. I guess maybe he moved a little bit, but it's pretty shit luck, to be honest.
Yeah, big time.
And then for you, the stage, how did it unfold?
Well, it was pretty easy to start with. I actually thought it was going to be a huge fight for the break, because sometimes it does have the chance to win, always on Etna. And that group that went was super strong, because I don't think we rode slow. Mitchelton rode most of the day and rode real quick. Definitely wasn't like super easy. And they got these long drags around Etna. And it's kind of just about position, because every town is these like cobbled slate kind of patches. And they're like dead straight and normally pretty steep. So it hurts a lot there. So you got to be in good position pretty much. And after that, there's all these twisty downhills, which then you went into these cobbled slate like pavings at silly speeds. So it was kind of just a real hectic kind of day, and then it was all about position pretty much. Well, it was. And I actually felt pretty good most of the day, but my heart rate was super high. And oh God, maybe it'll just stay like that all day. It'll be fine. But then, no. Got to the final climb and was absolutely pretty buckled. And it wasn't super fast though, that's the thing. When I let go, I don't think it was anything like outrageous. I think it was just the stress as well that, for me personally, gets to me, and often happens a fair bit, or has, except that 1 year here in the Giro where the stress like gets my heart rate super high, and I just can't calm down. Maybe I'm too highly strung or something, but it's a bit of a bummer, because I personally was wanting to do really well for maybe the young rider, because it's my last year, but now it's out of the question. I just have to look at the specific days where the break's going to win, which I reckon will be a lot this year, because there's not many teams are strong enough to ride at all.
So your role coming in was to do a little bit of your own thing, was it? It wasn't too much around helping others?
Well, the thing is, before this, I've had a couple of health issues. So I gained heaps of weight and was really rough. So within the space of 2.5, 3 months, I've put on 5 and a bit kilos and also lost 5 and a bit kilos. So it's been really ups and downs. And I got myself finally into super good shape and wanted to just have Etna just as a opportunity pretty much to try to see what I can do. But now it's out the question. Hopefully I can aim for some specific days, like 5, 6 and 9. But then again, Domenico looked really good yesterday. So I think our roles will change because of that. We haven't spoken about it yet, but credit to him. He's got I don't know how much metal he's got in his arm, but must have at least 1 kilo of metal. And he's super wonky, but he's a tough man. And credit for an older guy to stay motivated and still go so well.
I guess when you're 47 kilos, 1 kilo of steel probably doesn't make too much of a difference.
No, but if you see him, his elbow, and after his crash at the tour, it still was kind of bleeding now. And that was a long time ago. So pretty incredible that he's fine.
It was, once we got to the climb, it was the old boys getting to work. Full sang, Micah, Pozzovivo, we touched on Nibali and Kreiswijk. A little bit of a change of tone since the last couple of months, which has just been the young pups going wild on the world tour. Yates got hooped semi-early for what was expected. Was it just on from the get-go? Was it grippy?
It was definitely grippy. I mean, but that's the thing, Mitchelton rode. So they kind of shot themselves in the foot there, but they rode from the start. So they'll have an interesting meeting either this morning or last night. I think it just was a little bit grippy, and there's not that much depth, I think, here for the overall kind of title. But I mean, you're saying that about the young guys. That Almeida guy is, 21, 22?
Yeah.
He's leading the race, and he was second in the TT, and that's pretty special considering you're neo pro. So and there's also a Lotto guy that was up there, a young guy. But it's true, the older guys were the ones playing a little bit. But you never know by the time we come to tricky days how things change and turn.
You just feel like the older dogs are just going to be able to get through the Giro a little bit more. It's just got this rugged feel about it that you're going to have to be old and weathered to feature in this. Of course, Almeida, he's done super well to be in the pink jersey after this stage, but you just feel like old legs are going to come good late in this piece, because the last week, I'm sure you've looked at the race book, it's pretty tricky.
I think as well, the middle days are super tricky. Classic Giro, just kind of throwing a couple steep climbs and techie finishes at the end. They should never be underestimated those days, because they're super interesting and sketchy. Especially along that Umbrian coast and Emilia Romagna, and it's those are not easy days at all. So it's just a lot. I mean, I can't even think about the last week, because you've seen what the weather's been like in Europe this last week. In Andorra, it's been pumping snow. In the Alps, it's been the same. I mean, end of October up on Stelvio is touch and go.
Is there a bit of talk within in the peloton and all the teams is there things in place if there is snow? Is
no
the race
idea.
got you not haven't talked
Normally
about it?
you'll get told probably the day before.
Yeah.
Last year, I mean, Gavia, there was no way we could have done Gavia. There was so much snow on there, but then he still was like, we'll let you know in the morning if we can clear it. Mate, it's meant to be another 10 centimeters overnight. There's no way you're going to clear it.
Yeah.
So but they'll be pretty set. As I said earlier, the Giro is a spectacle. So if they can make you go up there, you will do it.
Yeah.
We'll do what we want.
Yeah. Well, Albie, what did you think about Mitchelton riding last night, and then it all going pretty pear-shaped?
I saw. I did watch their backstage pass, and there was a shot of when it came over the radio that Yates was getting hooped, and there was genuine shock on Matt White's face. It was what? Yates is getting hooped? What's going on? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it didn't look the climb before going into it. He was not really in that good a position. He was kind of in the middle of the bunch, which is fine. He's relaxed. But Jack was behind him the whole time. And normally if Simon's going to go for the stage, he would make sure you're a little bit up the front. Tricky little downhills around Etna. So he was saying some things in the radio. Maybe already then.
Yeah, okay.
He knew, but I don't know. I was also super surprised. Just him near the back at that point, because I had bad legs, but I don't think it was that difficult. Definitely not looking back at the power.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was watching, and then he was really far back. Lucas was far back. Jack was far back. I just don't know whether they were being lazy or they just got caught out or they were just hoping that the pace was going to drop, and then they could come up. It was they weren't playing any games. He was just in big trouble.
Yeah.
It was. I did also like give him a bit of kudos for hanging in there, kind of holding on to some kind of glimmer of GC hopes. He still rode the climb relatively well. Hagee did a super job to take him to the finish line. Like that's not an easy cause to go, oh, geez, I'm not good, and I'm going to drag myself all the way to the line.
Yeah. I guess you kind of have to. I mean, Froome did it a couple of years ago and came back from being pretty terrible. And you spoke about it last week, and I find it hard to think about, but there is a lot of climbing and a lot of caves. Vincenzo's done the same back in the day, or even Hagedal. So Giro is one of those races where things extraordinary happen just because of the kilometers as well. Filthy long days, and then they would just explode. pretty much. I mean, did you look at the last week? Just unnecessarily long. Even stage 19, 250k flat day. Like, why?
I was about to bring that up with you. I'm sure you've looked at it. 250 on the penultimate day for no reason. Same result. 140k would get the same result.
Yeah, but it's just. And it's even written. It says in the book like. This is a stage partly for riders to recover. You're like, no, it's not. It just really isn't.
There is a reason though.
It makes you chuckle off for sure. It's just to make you tired before you have to do Agnello.
And there's definitely a paycheck coming from the town at the other end.
Yeah, Asti. Always, but Giro makes you laugh.
Just
is it nice having...
You go, Alex.
Is it nice having about 90 Australian bros in the bunch?
Yeah, it's okay. I'm rooming with Dylan as well, Sunlawn.
So easy.
It's the first Grand Tour. It's good. Actually, I don't think I've roomed with a Australian at a Grand Tour before. So, Renshaw was typically by himself.
The big boss.
So, yeah, liked his own space. But yeah, no, it's like kind of. I guess it's easy to find someone to talk to then in a bunch when things chill. Maybe today will be a good day to have some chats before it gets a bit serious.
Just on that, you said you got roommates. What's the go with the coronavirus protocol here at the Giro? Pretty tranquil.
I guess we get the tests. We get the tests beforehand. It's definitely not as crazy strict as what I heard at the tour at all.
Okay.
I mean, the directors had to wear the masks in the cars and so on. Actually, can't remember if they were here, but surely not. It is much more relaxed, and you kind of wear it around the hotel, and people do the right thing. But also, it's all show, really. They're all tested. I mean, I was even tested when I landed here in Sicily. So, I've had 3 tests the last week. And then you got another one the rest day. And if there's anyone that's going to have this thing, it probably won't be us, or know about it first. It'll be us. Yeah. I don't know. It's not too much of a down. It's actually just wearing it to the starts and so on, which is a little bit annoying, but it's not the worst.
Do you have to wear it to the start line? Because at the tour, they were wearing it to the start line and then taking it off. It just seems silly.
Yeah, it's the same. You go to sign on, you wear it all. But it's funny because you'll hug your teammate, or you fight with guys. You pat them on the back, you talk to them in the race. So it's funny how you then have to wear it, but it's just so it fits the protocol for what the government, I guess,
of course,
says, which is fair enough. I mean, boxes. What else can cycling do? I mean, football doesn't have any fans, as in soccer here. There's no fans that can come, but in cycling, people can rock up on the side of the street and watch a parade. I mean, I think even if there was a massive parade, I don't know if it'd be allowed in a lot of different places. I don't know how they're going to do it in Volta, or even in the tour. It's if you actually have an event by itself, these things wouldn't go ahead, but because it's a bike race, then maybe it does. So it's kind of ironic, but you have to do the right things, I guess, even though it means nothing
Yeah.
to the kind of safety, because in the end we're at these hotels, and Italian hotels in the south of Italy, it doesn't really, it's not really a thing.
Is there punters in the hotels?
No, it's actually okay. There's not too many like weird old guys trying to get just old boys as waiters, just wanting to have chats, pretty much.
Mm. And is there still crowds kind of packing the stage starts?
Yeah, I mean, the start in El Carmel the other day was actually kind of cool. And I assume today, because today we're in Catania for the start, and last time was actually one of my most memorable, like kind of photo. There's a photo of us starting in Catania. You can see Mount Etna in the back with the snow cap on the peak, and it was really stunning. So good memories starting there, even though it's a super difficult day. But yeah, there's plenty of people around. It's definitely not like empty by any means.
Yeah.
What about how's the feeling at NTT at the moment? Obviously, a pretty tricky scenario with the potential folding of the team. How does that affect the guys racing?
I mean, if anything, it should have you more motivated, because you need a job for next year. And you need to do well. Even if you are a domestique and helping, that still gets recognised and rewarded, even if it's just by word to another team or this team. I mean, it's not over yet for NTT, but it's not ideal for the team at all. Doug, I assume, is doing all the things he can to make it work. But yeah, you need I guess it's fighting for your job, pretty much, and there's not really a lot else. It's a tricky situation for most teams in the whole rider market, because some teams, the pay is definitely going to go down for pretty much most riders in general. So, and there's probably all teams bar Israel, they're probably going to be paying really well. So, just because they wanted to, I guess, buy their way in with all the top guys that they can. So, it's a tricky situation. And yeah, it's a bit downer, especially for some of the older guys, because I think, as you were saying earlier, the race has been dominated so much by younger guys all the time now. So whether it's a change or not, it's hard to say. Maybe I should then retire 24. I'm too old. Past my peak now. So I don't know, you just have to fight. And then if you do have the opportunity, make sure you take it. Otherwise, yeah. Otherwise, you probably don't have a job. Maybe at a World Tour team. Maybe you could still find a Pro Tour team, but yeah. And you just have to look on the bright side and just think that right now you're still okay, and just hope that things all work out. It's only one result that changes things.
It'll be interesting. Like you touched on a little bit before, and we're chatting. Like normally, it's this time of year that contracts are being signed and negged and
It's off
locked
season
in,
now,
and
normally.
and like, but what happens when the season pretty much goes to the end of the year? It kicks off again already in January, supposedly in Oz. There's so many guys on the market that a couple of teams potentially folding, guys out of contract. It's pretty messy.
Yeah, I think everything has to be done by the end of the season, or at least by the first week of November. I reckon there's still Volta, so they're still running. I think a lot of things will happen here in the Giro for the next 2 weeks. Once you get past the first couple of days, especially when we had Etna just then, things kind of settle down a little bit. So hopefully more teams have been willing to chat. I mean, you're staying in hotels where you're all together. We're with AG2R and Jumbo here, so it's easy for riders or managers then once you get to the mainland to be together and talk and try and negotiate if your manager's here. And he also the other end of the spectrum, the classics guys, you still have everything to come really. Still have Brabantse Biel and Flanders and Roubaix. So lots of opportunity still, but I think it has to be done this next month, surely. Surely.
There's questions coming on Facebook. You touched on there was the inkling of GC hope heading into the Giro. It's probably ripped out yesterday, but what is your pass mark from Jeremy on Facebook for the Giro, if you're still there?
I missed that. You can ask it again.
Question from Jeremy on Facebook. What's your pass mark for the Giro now?
What's my past mark?
Yeah. So what are you expecting? What's a good Giro for Ben O'Connor look like from now on?
A stage win, pretty much. That's kind of the only thing that would give me big satisfaction. I kind of need it, and I think I can. I have enough form. I know I do. And there's lots of breakaway days. So as long as you put yourself in that spot and do it right, then I'm pretty confident I could pull off a stage. And you just need to make sure you target the days correctly. I mean, last year, this kind of happened, but I wasn't actually in good shape. But that wasn't good enough to change my mindset to be like, okay, let's do stages. You know, the race isn't over once you have one bad day. You see it all the time with a lot of guys. So yeah, pretty hopeful that it will come out, and I can make a break now. Last year, I tried every single day every single day from the second week, and I could not make it. Volta as well. First week could do nothing, and then I made 4, and then in the following 9 days, and this year as well, made a few more. Like, I don't know, you kind of get the knack of getting in a breakaway. It's a weird thing because before I was literally just terrible, just couldn't make it. Timing, I guess, maybe.
It's a weird thing that goes underrated, I think, by the punter watching. Like, it's not just like you put yourself.
It's like unbelievable to like for people to like understand. Like, honestly, if you saw the start, you see it at the tour, you see how hard it is, but you do similar power on climbs and so on as what people do at the finish. Just that's the finish. You know, that's after the 120Ks. At the start, it's still the same pace, if not more. You're just absolutely going. So, especially when it takes an hour and a half, it's just like doing an hour and a half crit or whatever, but in a bunch. And if it's hilly, it's difficult. And if it's windy, it's even worse.
Another question on YouTube. What are your thoughts on the EF Mighty Ducks jersey? Lots of hype about it pre-Giro.
It's pretty interesting. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. It's definitely interesting. Interests people. So I guess that's its idea. I was just actually thought about that yesterday, looking at a lot of kits. There's a lot of white in general. Like, there's lots of white on lots of people's kits. So, yeah, I think it's a good move. Why not?
Yeah.
But I don't know actually how a Palace, are they like then paying money to EF or
that was my only question.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's a lot of Palace.
Yeah, I know. That's what I always thought it'd be more Rafa and less Palace, but there's a lot of Palace. So, yeah, maybe they're just getting a good marketing spree, or they paid a little bit of money. I don't know. You can ask Jonathan if you want.
Yeah. Anything else to touch on, Campbell? Any highlights for you during the stage?
Nah, not really. I think we kind of touched on everything we need to. Guess looking forward to tonight. Tonight's stage probably going to be a sprint. You'd think there's a pretty decent climb halfway through. What's the feel in your group?
Yeah, it depends how strong the break goes. I think guys like EF again will be like pretty keen to send some strong guys in that move, and definitely isn't like easy to chase because the downhill's long, 20 k's. Maybe you only get 30 seconds a minute maximum on the downhill gain, if that.
Yeah.
But FTJ will ride today, all day. You don't have Bora, who are always pretty keen to give it a go. Does Sunweb try and ride hard on the climb? Probably not. It's a long, they probably don't need to.
It's a long way to the finish as well.
Yeah, and I mean, also Wilco, if they want it to make it harder for him. I don't know, maybe Matthews will just try and gamble. There's probably other days for him anyway. Away with Gaviria, they weren't afraid to ride the other day, so maybe they try again. And I think it will be a sprint. It's not meant to be too windy along the coast as well. I think they're around towns, so should be just like super speedy, I think.
Yeah. I'm tipping Demar, Albie, by the way.
I would also do the same.
Yeah.
He was flying the other days, so.
Well, I'm not going to disagree with you two, especially with Ben on the ground tipping Arno. I think they'll be pretty keen to capture a bit of Arno's form and pick up staging while they can. Any last questions, Campbell?
Nah, I'm all good. Just hopefully we can see Ben get into one of these breakaways on one of the target days and land a stage.
Yeah. 5, 6, and 9. That's my short-term outlook. So
we'll keep tabs.
Ripper. Thanks for joining us, Ben. Much appreciated.
No worries.
Thanks, Ben.
All the best, and we look forward to seeing you rip it up. Hopefully, a few climbs for a stage win later on in the piece.
Cheers. Thank you, and have a good week, you guys as well.
Cheers.
Cheers.
See you later.
See ya.